Hey, it's Johnny Jet, and this is my 39 travel questions. And today we have Dan Nainan, who is a famous comedian that President Obama even said, "You're blanking hilarious." Dan, thank you for joining.
I can't be that famous, otherwise everyone would have heard of me. And if I really were famous, I don't know if I'd be on this. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, dude.
Somewhat famous. It's on my business card.
Okay,
Makes
good.
people laugh.
I hope you're not throwing me some shade.
No, you're my favorite, man. So I love your tips and I love hearing you on Leo. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. So Dan, where'd you grow up?
I was born in Bloomington, Indiana, but grew up mostly in the Washington, D.C. area. Moved to California, southern, then to northern, and then to New York, which is where I am now.
New York. So did you go to college?
I did. I went to University of Maryland, majored in business, and spent 3 semesters co-oping for IBM, which helped me pay my way through college because I had to pay for it myself.
So how'd you get started as a comedian? I mean, that's your full-time job. I mean, that's what you do.
It is, and it's a great job. I was a demo engineer with Intel, and my job was to travel with the senior executives and the CEO, chairman, all over the world, do technical demonstrations on stage. I was great at designing the computers in the lab. The tough part, though, was speaking on stage in front of thousands of people, sometimes millions on TV. And I thought, I got to do something to get over this fear of public speaking. Took a comedy class, and that changed my life.
Did it? So just that one comedy class got your fear over?
Yeah, well, it was interesting because I got the videotape of our final exam, if you will, which is a performance at a club. I showed that to my coworkers at Intel. They asked me to perform at the team dinner after a convention in Vegas, 250 Intel employees. Someone came up and said, could you do this act for the annual sales conference? And that was for 2,500 people, my 3rd show ever.
Wow. And were you nervous?
I was horribly nervous, but people came up afterwards and they said, now you're not really an Intel employee, you're a professional comedian, and you were pretending you were an Intel employee. And I said, no, I'm really an Intel employee. And that's when I thought, maybe I could do this for a living.
Wow. And I mean, you performed for big time heads of states. And I mean, you traveled around the world. How many countries do you think you've been to?
Well, I know I've been to 60. I've performed in 28 and I've been to 60. And I knew you would probably ask this question. This is one of my proudest possessions, which is my passport, which has like stamps and visas from all over the world. And, so 60 countries. And I don't count being at the airport. That does not count. Like I've been to Cairo airport. I was sitting there for 2 hours. I'm like, I've got to get to the city, but it's 2 hours just to get from the airport to the city. So I don't count Egypt, but I think you have to be in the country for a while to count the country. How about you?
You know what? I'm actually about to create a post on how many countries I've been to, and I'm going to do an easy country counter. And I'm actually not even sure, but I think according to the UN, around 70 something.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
But, according to the some of these clubs, the Centurion Club, they count Hawaii, Puerto Rico. So I've been to over 100 with their list.
I don't think Hawaii is a different country since 1949 or 59, whatever it was.
Correct. So, and by the way, do you know how many? Actually, of course, you know how many continents you've been to. Have you been to all 7?
Well, I've been to every one except Antarctica, of course,
okay.
Which is tough to get to, as you know.
Right.
But one day.
I've never been myself. So, how are you doing by the quarantine?
I think the whole human race will end up living on Antarctica one day when global warming gets so bad.
I hope not.
I know. Let's hope not.
So, how are you doing with quarantine?
Well, I'm surprisingly, I have not gained the quarantine 15 like a lot of people. Eating exclusively at home, haven't eaten out maybe more than once or twice, and finding that even when all of this is over, I don't think I'm going to start eating junk food when I'm at the car wash and getting a candy bar. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. So it's been really a sort of a silver lining.
Yeah. Well, Unfortunately, our pantry's full with junk food. My wife keeps baking. Yesterday, she made peanut butter and chocolate brownies. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So if it wasn't for that, I would be really skinny. But I have lost weight because I'm not traveling so much and I'm not eating out. We have not eaten out. And normally we'd eat out, multiple times a week.
Yeah, as you know, being on the road, it's the hardest to be disciplined when you're traveling.
For sure. Now I really do know why those mashed potatoes taste so good when you eat out, because they really are full of butter, like Anthony Bourdain said.
Yep.
So anyway, so when do you think you will fly again, and what will it take for you to get on a plane again?
Well, I'm in this, as you know, this private jet club, and I see the flights coming up every day, and it's a lot easier to get on something like that because there aren't many people at the terminal, the FBO they call it, and there's pretty much no one else on the plane, or maybe a few people on the plane. So I'm going to probably go soon, but I'm going to wait until they lift the order. I don't want to be in violation of the state and the governor. I think I'm going to wait.
So can you tell us about this private jet club and how can I join? Because that sounds
Well,
like I'm Johnny Jet. I should have my own jet.
Well, we'll have to probably talk in private about it, but it is a lot of fun, and it's not expensive as you think. And I've done over 100 flights and met some amazing people. And it's things have changed a bit to where it's a lot more expensive, but it is quite an experience, and you meet some amazing people.
I've seen those pictures, including the one right behind you.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have any idea how many miles you've flown in your lifetime? Or
I'm a million miler with Delta, and I foolishly did not stick to one airline as I should have.
Right.
And so I would guess probably 2 or 3 million miles. How about, do you know?
Well, a million mile on American. I'm just shy of American
Nice.
Mile on United, and I'm like halfway there on Delta. But
Cool.
I also dated a flight attendant for 4 years. And
okay, so
those miles didn't count.
Of 2.5 million miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How about, what's your earliest travel memory?
Let's see. When we were 6, my parents decided to take us on a trip around the world, when we could really enjoy it. When you're 6 years old, and my sister was 3, we first went to see our grandparents in India and Japan, and that was the objective of the trip. And I think that's my first travel memory, being in front of the Louvre, falling and hitting my teeth, and then having to go and get my teeth pulled out in Paris. And I don't think they used any anesthetic. And so it was when I was 6 years old, a trip around the world.
Damn. Well, I had a joke there, but I was not going to say it because you're a comedian. What's your favorite American city?
I would say Honolulu for sure. And New York, of course, is, to live, I think New York City, which is where I am. But to visit, I'd say Honolulu. And I think I'd consider getting a second place there. It is, as you know, when you get off that plane and that smell of the flowers and the rainbows and the ohana, the feeling of kindness, and everyone there looks like me. So,
I love Honolulu.
Unfortunately for them.
I do miss it. Favorite international city?
Oh, without doubt, Singapore. I remember doing the show there. I've done about 10 shows, been there about 6 times.
Wow.
I remember I decided to walk back to my hotel, hour and a half, no homeless, no graffiti, no trash, no gum on the sidewalks. I didn't even see any police. And it's the cleanest city, very organized, beautiful. And of course, I love the weather, 88 degrees and 80% humidity, 366 days a year. I love it.
I love Singapore too. I really do.
Yeah, and the airport's awesome as well.
It's the best in the world.
Yeah.
So where do you think the friendliest people in the world are?
Friendliest, believe it or not, New York is very friendly. Now, I have a friend who has been to every country in the world, and he claims it's Tehran, Iran, and I would love to see that. I would say in the whole world, I think so far I'd say Honolulu.
I just had someone on the show recently, and they said Iran has the friendliest people as well.
Yeah, I've got to see it. I've got to go.
Yeah, me too. How about the country with the meanest immigration officers?
Oh, without doubt, Canada. Um, there's some sort of a hang up. I don't know what it is, but maybe because Canadian artists were mistreated by our border services, maybe way back in the day. But when you're an artist, they are mean, brutal. I would say definitely Canada.
Well, honestly, about 95% of the people I've interviewed have all said Canada, including myself, and I'm married to a Canadian,
Really?
and I'm not an artist.
That's pretty, yeah, that's, well, then if 95% tell you that, then there must be some truth to it.
Yeah. How
Wow.
about which place do you have no desire to go to?
Well, I did stop. I was doing a show in Australia, and I stopped. I said, let me stop over in Brunei, and I landed in Brunei. It was 2 a.m. and there was absolutely no taxis, and there was no way to physically get to my hotel. And I'm like, what is this? This is a daily flight that lands at 2 in the morning. Why don't they have any way to get around? And I finally found a security guard who said he'd give me a ride, so I gave him like $20. But I couldn't believe that. That was like bizarre.
So was anyone on the plane, on the flight there? Were they just connecting, or were you the only one getting off the plane?
No, there was a few people, and we were just walking around and asking each other, "Do you know how to get down to the our hotel?" I mean, people were just walking around with puzzled looks, and I wasn't the only one by any means. It was weird, so I would not want to go back to Brunei.
Wow, that's weird. I've never
Yeah.
been to Brunei. Um, how about your favorite U.S. airport?
Okay. You're gonna be shocked, but believe it or not, LaGuardia. And yeah,
No one's ever said LaGuardia.
no, you know why? Because I'm in Manhattan, in Midtown, Chelsea. I can get to LaGuardia in 45 minutes on the subway because of that new Q70 bus. Um, and so it's literally 45 minutes. It's easy to get through security. It's not a huge long walk to the gate like at JFK.
Right.
And, I know both Trump and Biden have ripped on LaGuardia. And because of that, I think they've undertaken this multi-billion-dollar renovation, which is causing horrible traffic problems,
Right.
which of course I don't deal with because I don't drive there. But
So how do you
I
get
mean,
to LaGuardia from Midtown?
okay, so you get on the F train, which takes you to Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights, and there's a Q70 express bus, which is 10 minutes from Queens, and they used to have the Q33, which would take forever because it would while and wend its way through these neighborhoods and take 40 minutes. That's cut to 10 minutes. So that plus 30 minutes on the train, I can get there in 45 minutes. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, when I used to live on the Upper East Side of New York part-time, I would take the subway to 125th and then take the M60 bus.
M60, right.
And it was great. And it was
Yeah.
like
Oh, it's awesome.
225, I think it was, the whole thing, the whole trip.
Now it's 275. It's amazing.
Oh,
So
they went up.
and I love the lounges. And yeah, I'm probably the only one person who told you that, right?
You are,
Okay.
definitely. How about international airport?
I do
Changi?
like Singapore, as you mentioned. I was really blown away by Nelspruit in South Africa, which is near Kruger Park. That is literally, it looks like a safari lodge.
I've been there.
You have, yeah,
Yeah.
so any of the smaller airports on the Hawaiian Islands, like Kauai and I did a show in Thompson, Manitoba, and the airport there looks like a double wide trailer. It's amazing.
Well, I guess they're not going to have my next question. Your favorite airport lounge?
Favorite? Oh, by far. Okay. The business class lounge in Doha, Qatar. Amazing,
Everyone,
amazing,
a
and
lot of people say that. And
yeah, the game room. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but if you are stuck in Doha airport for a few hours, which I was on the way to Thailand, they have a full-on spa with this huge swimming pool that you can go hang out with. It's not part of the lounge, but it's in the airport. It's a separate entity, a separate
and you pay
payment.
for that,
Oh, yeah, but I got a massage and I was in the pool. It was phenomenal. So yeah, Doha Airport is great and the lounge is awesome.
right? Favorite aircraft type?
It's this one behind me, the Challenger 300. That's a beautiful jet. For commercial, again, I'm going to be against the grain. I love the A380. It's like the new 747. It has the upstairs, and some of them have bars. And I mean, I love the A380.
Yep. I just interviewed the points guy the other day. That was his plane as well.
You interviewed Brian?
So how about your favorite airplane seat of all time besides the Challenger behind you?
I would say I made a friend. I met a guy from Qatar Airways at one of my shows, and he handed me his card and said, if you ever need anything, let me know, anything. And 2 days before I flew from Philadelphia, Doha to Philadelphia from, I think it was Lebanon, I said, hey, is there any way you could upgrade me to business class? And he did. And I had two flatbed seats next to each other. So I treated one as my bed and the other one as my office. And as you may know, on Qatar, it's a la carte in business. So you can order anything off the menu anytime you want. So I just got on, went to sleep, woke up, and I just went crazy and ordered from the menu.
I love Qatar Airways business
It's
class.
amazing.
I mean,
yeah.
And their service. I've been fortunate to fly them at least a dozen times, and
yeah, they're amazing. They're great.
I can't wait to go back.
Yeah,
and they got a good deal going right now too.
To Tehran. Let's go to Tehran.
Yeah. Have you ever sat next to any famous celebrities?
I have. I sat next to Ja Rule, and who, as you know, was had something to do with the Fire Festival. He wasn't particularly friendly. I sat across the aisle from Henry Winkler.
He's friendly.
Happy days, yeah, nicest guy. And I was performing at an event at the Democratic Convention in Charlotte. I was so bummed because 2 rows behind me was Anderson Cooper. And he was chatting up with whoever he was sitting next to, and they became the best of friends. And I was so bummed. Yeah, I'm so bummed. But I would say a lot of people have gotten to sit next to me too.
I was going to say that.
I met a guy I sat next to a guy who goes, oh, I know you. I just saw your DVD. And he's a director, and we became great friends. So
that's awesome.
My friend next said, my buddy who got me into Delta said, you got to do Delta. He sat next to Eddie Van Halen, and being a guitar player, I would give him my right arm to sit next to, well, all right, maybe my right leg to sit next to Eddie Van Halen. And he didn't even talk to him. Can you believe that? Oh.
Speaking of drinking, what's your drink of choice when you're flying?
Well, I'm not a drinker, so I drink milk pretty much, and water. And when I'm traveling, like at a resort, I like to have a virgin pina colada. And I love those. They're a little too sweet, but
Me too.
I don't drink alcohol, so mostly milk or water.
In Hawaii, I get the lava flow, the virgin lava flow.
Oh, no. What's in that?
It's just basically a pina colada, but they put like strawberry sauce in there, so it looks like
right.
molten
Okay.
lava.
I'm gonna get one next time for sure.
What's your favorite restaurant in the world?
There was a place in Marrakech, Morocco. Oh, I'm gonna have to look up the name and send it to you. It might have been Dar Hoha or something like that, but we actually went twice. We were in Marrakech for 3 days, and we went, or 4 days. We went twice. It was so amazing, just chorus after chorus after chorus. That's my favorite.
Well, you know what? I'll email you after this. You can send it to me. I'm going to create a blog post on this.
Okay.
So people just please check out my website, johnnyjet.com. Subscribe to this channel. Also like this video. And Dan, by the way, where can the people find you?
I'm at Comedian Dan on everything. ComedianDan.com is my website. Comedian Dan on Twitter, on Instagram, on everything. I'm Comedian Dan.
There you go. And what's the craziest thing you've ever eaten while you've been traveling?
The craziest thing, I'm sorry?
What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten?
Let's see. Well, I've eaten everything. What have I eaten? Nothing really sticks out like, monkey brain or anything like that.
No street food in Thailand? Some like bugs?
No, I'll do street food. I've heard street food is good. I'm just trying to think of anything that sticks out. I'll eat everything local.
Snake, kangaroo?
No, I haven't done that. I'm trying to think. Boy, I just eat everything. So, but I haven't had monkey brains.
All right. Favorite hotel?
Okay. All right. For work during a show, I stayed at the Oberoi in Gurgaon, New Delhi, India, and it was amazing. You know, you get there and there's this structure, and it totally reminded me of Fantasia when the hippos are dancing in that stadium. It's the beautiful hotel and these fountains and pools, but by and large, I would say for pleasure, the Molokai Ranch, and that place was amazing. Is they have these what are called tentelos by the beach, which are they're not really tents, but they're on a concrete platform, and then you shower under the stars, and oh, that was amazing. Unfortunately, they've closed, and they're selling the land, I think. But
Because of COVID or?
no, no, no. This was years ago, and we went years ago, and I think they've been closed for a while now. But
Okay.
what was so cool is that you've got the tentalo, right? And it's sort of like Roughing It, but it's really luxurious.
Right.
And then you had the hotel up the road where it was more like a lobby and all that. So it was the best. I'd say Molokai Ranch was the greatest hotel I ever stayed at.
How about your favorite travel credit card?
Well, I would have to say the Amex card, only because
Amex Platinum or?
yeah, I have the platinum. The reason I like what I have come to learn through trial and error is that Amex is the absolute best at disputes. And you know, I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve as well, and I'll tell you, if there's any issue whatsoever, Amex will just right away just you know, cut the charge from your bill and dispute it, and they are awesome at that. And we stayed at this place in the Virgin Islands in BVI, and we had a problem where they said, "Oh, there's no seaweed, don't worry." And we get there, and the whole beach is socked in with seaweed. And I paid for it with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and they would not dispute it for me. They said, "Well, you stayed there, you got the services, so there's nothing we can do." And I was so furious, and I realized why this place doesn't take the Amex, because they know that people will dispute it. So oh, I mean, I don't have time to tell you about all the times I've disputed Amex and gotten my money back. So yeah, I'm very loyal to the Amex Platinum.
I've only disputed a charge once, and it was last week. And I used Chase Sapphire Reserve for my Air Canada flights. They will not refund me for my
Oh,
Toronto to New York flights. They canceled it, and they're saying, "Sorry, we'll only give you a voucher." So anyway, I called Chase Sapphire. They said they're going to dispute it,
right.
but we'll see what happens when I get the final review. But I have a feeling it's not going to go through.
Oh man. Well, I
Uh,
mean, you'll fly Air Canada
and,
again, right? Or I'll buy the credit from you if it's transferable.
yeah, I doubt it. How about your favorite island?
Favorite island? I would say Kauai. I've been there a lot, and what I love about it is the rainbows and the nature. Maui is, I think, more like partying, right? And the hip people go there, but Kauai is all about hiking and waking up early in nature and the canyon and the waterfalls. So I would say Kauai.
And how about favorite beach?
Let's see. Oh, okay. Once again, the favorite beach is also in Hawaii. It's called the Road to the Sea. It's not very well known. It's in the south of the Big Island, and you drive down this dirt road. You essentially have to have a four-wheel drive, and you get to this beautiful beach, it's black sand, and it looks like you're on the moon, right? With these mountains, or not mountains, but these, um, I guess, I don't know, lava structures around you, and a black sand beach, beautiful. Then there's a green sand beach, one over from there. I would have to say that's my favorite beach, and there's no one there. Also, Holly on Kauai, or Barking Sands, 5 miles long, and practically nobody there. And a pool the size of an Olympic swimming pool that's made because of the tides. That's also awesome.
You're all Hawaii, man. I think it's time for you to move there.
Yeah, and then also I think I might, and also the Abaco Club at Winding Bay has one of the most beautiful beaches, and that was a tie-in with the Jet Club, and that was pretty beautiful as well.
Any travel movies that's inspired you, or any movies that inspired you to travel?
Well, of course, when everyone saw Up in the Air, I got like 20, 30 people like calling and emailing, Dan, you got to see this movie. That's you. That's totally you.
Me too.
So, and also, what was the one with Matt Damon, and he's the Born Identity?
Yeah, I've never seen
There's a
him.
yeah, there's a scene in there where he goes, see, he doesn't remember who he is, and there's a scene when he goes to the bank safe deposit box, and there's all these different passports and different names and all these foreign currencies and etc. And so I was really motivated by that to travel, and I, get a bunch of foreign currencies and some of them which I still have. So I would say that was also great.
Cool. How about your favorite travel TV shows?
Um, Unfortunately, I don't watch television, so I don't really
All right. How about
I can't.
books?
What's that?
How about a book? Favorite travel book?
Travel. Oh, I've read so many. I enjoyed the 4 Hour Work Week because he talks a lot about traveling in there, and he says what you want to do is get paid in dollars and then spend your money in like rupees or a foreign currency, so that you hire people to do stuff for you, and then you can then take that money, the dollars that you earn, and then use a foreign currencies and travel all over the world. And so that was very motivational to read the 4 Hour Work Week by, of course, Tim Ferriss.
Well, I'm going to try and get him on this show then.
Oh wow, that'd be awesome.
How about what's your worst travel moment
Worst travel
besides
moment.
the seaweed?
Well, there was the Brunei that I mentioned. I think there was one time when I actually went to the wrong airport that was here, and I went to JFK when I should have been at LaGuardia. But having status with Delta, no big deal. I just, got on the train. I think that time I took a shuttle to the other airport and just took a later flight. As you know, with Delta, when you have
Right.
status, you can just say, all right, I'd like to take a later flight today. Okay, no problem, Mr. Nainan. They're wonderful.
That's good. How about your most embarrassing travel moment,
Most embarrassing.
if you have
I
one?
I was in the I was in the at that lounge in Doha, the business class lounge, and going to take a shower, and the guy was coming in with me, and I thought, is he going to rub my back or something? But fortunately he wasn't. But I sent that to my contact at Doha, and he said he laughed out loud reading that email, and he sent it to he read it to all of his friends.
All right. What's your dream destination?
Well, okay, I have this crazy idea to retire either in Singapore or Hawaii or the Canary Islands. Here's the
Have you been to the
problem.
Canary Islands?
I've never been to the Canary
I
Islands.
haven't either.
And I'm looking at it. I'm like, first of all, um, there's this great site where you can compare costs of living all over the world. And
Which one's
the
that, by the way?
Numbeo, Numbeo. It's like number, except you replace the R with an O.
Okay.
Numbeo.com. This is a great site. And you can literally put in any city and compare the cost of living to any other city. And the Canary Islands the rent is maybe 1/5 of what it costs in New York. And buying a place is 1/5. So you can get, I mean, I could sell my place here and get like this killer 4-bedroom, 3-bath on the beach, right? In the Canary Islands. And you look at the Canaries, they're very similar to Hawaii. You have a large number of microclimates, including snow. You've got sand dunes. You've got 2 big cities that are walkable, one of which has a train system. Check out the Canary Islands. And the best part is there's no Americans. It's all Europeans who vacation there and have second homes. So that's my dream destination, big time.
I'm going to have to put it on my bucket
What's
list.
yours? I'm curious.
What's that?
What's your dream destination? You've been
Around the world trip with my family and just
nice.
hitting all the hot spots and showing them,
Nice.
especially my kids. But
You must have the points.
I have the points.
Uh-huh.
I just can't use them right now.
I know, but yeah, I'm sure you will.
All right, 2 questions left. What's the
Okay.
most important thing that travel has taught you?
Never check a bag.
Good.
Never check a bag, because I almost missed a show once because I checked my bag and I never checked again. And it is possible to travel without one. And it's so much easier to get to the airport that way because you can use public transport. And when you're in the city, your destination, you can walk around just with your bag and your backpack on top of the rollaway. I would say definitely, don't ever check a bag, and you don't need that much stuff. And I happen to be with someone who also surprisingly has never checked a bag when we travel, and that is quite an accomplishment.
Well, I don't check a bag when I travel by myself, but when I'm with my family, I bring a U-Haul truck.
Right. Well, you have kids, so you've got to bring the
Everything.
seat, the car seat, and and the stroller, and I know. Yeah, my friends with kids have to do the same thing.
All right. So that's actually a good travel tip, but you have a better travel tip, because my last question is, what's your best travel trip? Best travel tip.
Best travel tip. A better one. Well, I mean, I talked about this already, is use the Amex card whenever you can for anything where you might have to make a dispute. Um, I would also say, use your time wisely, because when you are traveling, there's a lot of time where you'll be in between. You'll be on the bus or the train to the airport, or you'll be walking through the airport, or you'll be in the lounge. Use your time wisely. And I have a number of ways to do that. I have podcasts, which are a great way. I've got a new podcast called Coffee Break Spanish, which teaches you languages while you're walking. Get books on tape. It's really important. Get ebooks to read on the plane, because I don't really watch the movies. And I also have a fantastic voice dictation app where I can dictate into my phone a chapter of my book. And I've written most of my book this way. Dictate while I'm driving or waiting for a train or whatever. And then I get back to my computer and it transcribes what I wrote with extreme accuracy.
What's that called?
So Dragon Naturally Speaking. It's amazing. In fact, now I have it so I can be out walking through Manhattan and dictating with my headset into my phone, and then I push a button, it sends it to Dropbox, and by the time I get back to my computer back home, it's already transcribed and waiting for me on my desktop. It's amazing.
Huh,
So
that's
use your
awesome.
time. I would say use your time wisely. Educate yourself. Read. Um, and because life is short.
And how about my real last question is, again, how can people find you?
comediandan.com. And comedian Dan is, see, because people can't spell my last name, Nainan, Nainan, for some reason, even though it's 6 characters. So everything is under comedian Dan, under Instagram, under Facebook, under the website.
So you
Everything
pronounce it Dan Nainan, not Dan Nainan?
Nainan, yeah.
I think I said Nainan in the
No
beginning.
worries, it happens all the time.
So I apologize.
No worries.
And is your book out?
It's almost out. We've had a little bit of an interruption, is because I helped a friend publish a book on Van Halen, and that is sold out because of some amazing press. And we have 400 or 500 back orders, and so we're waiting for that. But I am going to get it published at the same place, and there's places that you can get books published hardcover, like super quality, for like $2.50. And you, as you know, Johnny, I've been telling you, you've got to do a book, because you would sell thousands or tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, with your experience and your knowledge.
Yeah, I need to give you a call so I get my motivational speak, because every
Anytime.
time I talk to you, you're on my ass, and I don't blame you.
I know. And
Appreciate
again, you can dictate it while you're waiting or traveling, and then have the computer transcribe it for you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I hope everyone subscribes to this channel, likes this video, because how can you not like Dan Nainan? And you guys have a great day.
Thank you so much. And of course, everyone go to Johnny Jet. And I love your tips. And one of my favorite apps that you talked about was Mapless, right?
I love that.
That's a fantastic app. It's awesome. And I love hearing your tips, even the one about, when you're going someplace and you need to take something out of your trunk, don't do it where you're going, but do it before you get there. That's a brilliant, because otherwise people will see you taking stuff or putting stuff in your trunk and they'll break into your car. Or the one about putting your shoe in your safe, because I've actually forgot a whole bunch of cash in my safe. Put your one shoe in your safe deposit box, your hotel safe. That way you'll never forget the valuables. That's a great
Well,
tip.
I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right, buddy. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.